As the debris of communism is sold off, the reality of planning controls has emerged. In a key chapter of The Road to Serfdom, Hayek describes why the worst get on top. The plan, he says, becomes self-serving. There's too much to lose. Herr Koch worked for the Stasi, a vast network of secret police and informers.
Wo alles zur gleichen Zeit das gleiche gut oder schön oder nicht gut empfinden soll. Also eine Uniformierung der Gedanken- und der Gefühlswelt. Es ist in der DDR damals mit Hilfe von Gesetzen und Vorschriften ein Polizei- und ein Staatssicherheitsapparat aufgebaut worden, um alle Angriffe gegen diese sozialistische Gesellschaft im Keime zu ersticken, sie bei Zeiten zu erkennen und dann, wenn nötig, sie zu zerschlagen. Wo viele kleine Mosaiksteine zusammengelegt wurden, und jeder IM hat ein ganz kleines Informationchen gegeben, aber indem man es zusammensetzte, ist ein großes Bild daraus geworden und somit eine flächendeckende Überwachung für die gesamte Bevölkerung der DDR zustande gekommen. Und je mehr dieses Land DDR wirtschaftlich nicht in der Lage war, als Land zu existieren, umso größer wurde der Repressions-, Unterdrückungs- und Überwachungsapparat, um alle, die etwas dagegen unternehmen, frühzeitig zu erkennen und sie dann aus dem Verkehr zu ziehen.
As we rummage to find something good in the debris of the plan, Hayek asks us to remember its evil.
Once you admit that the individual is merely a means to serve the ends of the higher entity called society, most of those features of those totalitarian regimes which horrify us follow of necessity.
In the West, we tend to take our freedoms for granted. Hayek did not claim that central planning would inevitably lead to serfdom, but he stressed that if the foundations of the free society were ignored, then over time the freedom of each generation would be eroded. Is the process described in The Road to Serfdom relevant, for example, in the United States today? Only a few minutes' walk from Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. is a planning agency. It controls production using a common method, licenses. These pink slips are the permissions which allow free individuals in a free country to run a business under central control. Among the businesses are hair salons. Kim is a customer of a licensed hair salon, but to get the license, the owners had to fight against the licensing board and in the courts for 9 years. Pamela Farrell wanted to specialize in hair braiding. The licensing board said that she had, by law, to take exams in old-fashioned techniques of no interest to her. She fought them, and eventually the law was changed. But how much control did the bureaucratic planners retain?
Explain the new law to me, sort of distinct statements, so I don't have to read the whole thing.
All right, well, the new cosmetology law is the result of a long process.
The control plan for hair salons was adjusted to include new licenses for hair braiders.
Let me ask you, how is this new law going to protect the public?
The manner in which the public will be protected is the same as it was in the old law. The specifics will be somewhat different.
Pamela has every incentive not to hurt her customers. They wouldn't come back if she did. But bureaucracy, Hayek said, is blind. Its incentive is to avoid risk prior to any bad practice emerging. Control of hair braiding has been retained.
What are the issues, and can we feel, for example, that the general public goes into a braiding shop, for example, and there is some minor scalp disease, that whomever licensed there will be able to do proper referral to the dermatologist?
Yes. According to the regulations now under development, they will have to have the training, just like a cosmetologist, to recognize scalp disease and hair disorders. In terms of the public being protected, we have as much control over the braiders and electrologists as we did under the old law for cosmetology.
I've got the file here with the cosmetology.
Planners, as Hayek pointed out, can always find new objectives to justify their plans. No one is saying that planners have bad motives. They're often good, but the process in which they're involved, Hayek tells us, turns good motives into bad ends. Where the state controls activities, these controls grow.
The testing procedures. There's a license now for a hair braider, a salon, a manager, a training academy, and an instructor. So there are now 5 separate licenses, which covers everything that we asked.
The licensing board has recently invited Pamela Farrell to join them. She's insistent that she will limit her support for regulation to matters of public safety.
Of course, we would be issuing license and doing the state one thing.
But what temptations are there, Hayek would ask, for someone less scrupulous than her to use this power to prevent new competition? The dangers to freedom once the process of control described in Hayek's Road to Serfdom is set in motion are all too obvious. Hayek's great contribution has been to remind us to remember the foundations of our freedoms.
Is there a greater tragedy imaginable than that in our endeavor consciously to shape our future in accordance with high ideals, we should in fact unwittingly produce the very opposite of what we have been striving for?